Mazda CX-60 has seen some big changes in terms of the way it drives, with suspension and gearbox adjustments, and also some more affordable options. And in fact, the brand has slashed prices across the entire CX-60 lineup in order to appeal to more customers. So, is it more appealing now? Well, let's talk about it in this review, and I'll tell you the best alternatives too. So let's get to it, shall we? Thanks for subscribing. One thing's for sure, it is closer to the right price now than it ever was before because of a number of price reductions across the entire lineup and new, more affordable versions available as well, including this one right here, which is called the Pure, and it's still available with a 6-cylinder engine and all-wheel drive, petrol, diesel, or a plug-in hybrid version as well. And there's going to be a 4-cylinder model coming as well. Surprise, surprise, they might have to add something even more affordable, because this one still starts at a relatively high price point. It starts more than $50,000 plus on-road costs for the petrol, and like I said, there's also a diesel which adds more cost, and a plug-in hybrid which adds quite a lot more cost. And it's still getting plenty of standard spec in this entry-level version. You're getting things like LED lights, alloy wheels, and a surround view camera system is standard. A decent media screen in there, but it's not a touchscreen, which is annoying. There's also a head-up display, get a digital instrument cluster, lots of safety technology and spec there too, but it's not necessarily the most appealing, this entry-level version, but there are heaps of different versions above it to choose from as well. Spend $5,000 more than this one and you'll get into the Evolve grade, which does add a few extra features, again available with petrol, diesel and plug-in hybrid options available, all with all-wheel drive. And the Evolve gets things like a power tailgate, a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, wireless phone charger and fake leather interior trim. And above that is the Touring grade, which could be the sweet spot for plenty of people in terms of the price and in terms of the spec. You'll see the pricing for the Touring models on your screen, and again, it does have a fair few variants to pick from, but the spec is sweet in the Touring spec, including mirror memory settings, so when you adjust your seat, it will remember which position you were in for the mirrors as well. Now, the mirrors as standard across the entire range are electronically folding, heated, and auto-dimming as well. So they're pretty great mirrors as standard, but there's something that's not great about them, which I'll tell you about shortly. But in that Touring grade, you're also getting leather interior trim, heated front seats, and power adjustable front seats as well. Up from there is where things get a bit more blingy. It's the GT spec, which adds some of the niceness that you might expect in terms of the exterior design finishing. You're getting a different look outside, 20-inch wheels as well. Still a few different versions of that one to choose from in terms of the powertrains. And it also gets a panoramic glass roof, a 12.3-inch touchscreen media system, and there's a 12-speaker Bose sound system, electric steering wheel adjustment, a heated steering wheel, and heated outboard seats too. And at the top of the range is the Azami, which is a flagship model with plenty of standard spec, still with multiple different powertrain options, and I'll tell you all about the powertrains in a sec. But that Azami grade gets different looking 20-inch wheels and slightly different exterior finishing again, plus LED ambient lighting inside, a frameless interior mirror, black Napa leather upholstery, and ventilated front seats. So you do have to spend quite a bit of money to have a cool bottom in the Mazda CX-60. But let's talk about some alternatives that you might also want to consider, because there's some really, really good SUVs in this segment. Obviously, there is a bit of a premium here for the Mazda CX-60 because 6-cylinder engines. There's not really anything else in the marketplace that offers that kind of tech, but there are some really good alternatives. The first one I would recommend you check out is the Honda CR-V. There are a few different versions of the CR-V available, starting at a much lower price than this, and there's a high-spec hybrid one as well, which is about 60 grand drive away, and it is excellent. It is a really likable 5-seat SUV with plenty of great usable tech, lovely tactile controls, and none of the annoyances that you get in some other models in this segment. It is a lovely car, that Honda CR-V, and if I was buying a mid-sized SUV, it's probably what I would go to straight away. Another alternative you might want to have a look at is the new generation Volkswagen Tiguan. There's a few different versions of it available as well, and it could be a fantastic choice so long as you're okay with 4-cylinder turbo petrol engines, because that's all that's available. And that's maybe the limiting factor with that vehicle. There's no electrification versions on offer and no diesel anymore either. So it might not be perfect for everyone, but if you do like what it has to offer, it could be a great choice, I would say. And finally, the Lexus NX is totally worth a look. There are several different powertrain options on offer there too. Turbo petrol, petrol electric hybrid, and even a plug-in hybrid as well. And it is a very, very nice machine, that Lexus NX. Yes, you are paying a little bit more, but you're getting a premium brand experience and Lexus reliability and the Lexus ownership experience as well, which has its own merits in its own right. So, would you pick any of those, or is there another mid-size SUV that you'd pick instead? Have your say in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. No cosmetic changes for this CX-60 update, so it doesn't look different, but it does certainly drive different, as we'll get to shortly. But let me show you the dimensions on the screen now so you can see how big it is. It is bigger than some of the other 5-seat SUVs in the marketplace at more than 4.7 meters long. It's got a very long wheelbase for this segment as well, and that's because it shares this platform with all the models above it, the 70, the 80 and the 90 as well. So same platform as those bigger SUVs. And yes, if you do need 7 seats, you have to shop up to one of those alternatives. You'll find links to reviews of all of the Mazda CX big SUV models in the description below. I just want to call out one thing though. This car does have really great wide opening doors. So have a look at that. That is almost 90 degrees, and it does mean that you can easily get kiddos in and out, just so long as they don't open the door into the car parked next to you. Now, let's have a look at the boot space, because it is a pretty good size of boot for a vehicle of this size. It's not the biggest. Just excuse the child seat strap there, but it's a decent amount of space, I would say. You will be able to fit a family of 3's luggage in there with space to spare, and there are some good features as well. You've got these remote releases for the seat backs. If you do need to fold them down, it is a 40-20-40 split as well, so you can make it a bit more practical if you need it to be. You've also got a 12-volt port there, and on this side, same. You've got those seat flickers there. You've got a little storage tray on that side, and underneath the boot floor, you will find you've got a lovely yellow spare. That's a space saver spare wheel, which is great to see, because not all cars in this class come with a spare these days, especially ones that are hybridized. But let's take a look inside and see what it's like. Right, we'll get inside in one sec. I just want to show you something. This right here. I'm not the only person that I know who has jumped in the car like this, put their leg up to get in, and gone smack on that with their kneecap. That is very, very painful to do, people. I'm just telling you that because that's a public service announcement, and you really, if you are the sort of person who gets into their car assertively, you might end up bashing your knee occasionally. Yeah. Could be annoying, trust me. Now, let's have a look at the interior here. So this is the entry-level version right now. So it is basic in some ways and fine in others. So let me show you the seats first. They are a cloth trim with manual seat adjustment and no heating, so it doesn't feel like 50 grand's worth of car straight off the bat. But I like the interior finishing. For the most part, there are some new textures and stuff that maybe aren't as lovely as they probably could be. You're not getting a wireless phone charger. You are getting a funky looking shifter, some cup holders, a little tray there, and a 12-volt port, a rotary dial controller, which you bloody well need because there's no touch capacity on this screen. And that is super bloody annoying, especially if you are using smartphone mirroring, because, well, you have to get used to the shortcuts. And sure, there are some shortcuts, so you can jump back by pressing back. You can also jump back into CarPlay by toggling across using the rotary dial, and you've got music, home, and nav there. So look, you will get used to those controls. It's just not as simple as using it like a touchscreen, because it's designed to be used like a touchscreen. And look, this screen has plenty of other menus and so forth. If you want to use the native sat-nav system, you can do that. But I just don't think that it's that fantastic. It's not that deep, but there is usability here, if you don't want to have to connect up to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, I just typically do because it's just so simple to use usually when you can touch the screen. But anyway, you've also got a volume dial down there with skip controls, a favorites button as well, your electronic park brake. In here you've got a split center console bin, which is actually quite shallow, USB-C ports there. And let's have a look at some of the tech here. So there's a 7-inch screen in front of the driver with actual dials either side. There is some info available on that screen, so you can cycle through it if you want to, but look, it's maybe not as info-rich as one of the ones with the bigger screen in the higher grades, but thankfully you do get a head-up display as standard, which is a real bonus in my mind. It does make it a more livable car because of that little head-up system right there. The steering wheel is pretty nice to hang on to. It's leather-lined. It does have some really easily learnable controls. You've got your blinkers and lights there, and your wipers on that side. You've got paddle shifters to take matters into your own hands, and you might need to occasionally because this transmission's not the best. But let's also have a look up here because you've got illuminated vanity mirrors with auto lighting, which is nice, an auto dimming rear vision mirror, which is another nice inclusion. You've also got up here a sunglasses holder and some controls up here for your lights. And look, like I said, it maybe doesn't feel necessarily like $50,000 plus, but it does feel pretty nice, I would say. Right, let's jump into the back seat and see what the space is like. Rightio, some bad news, people. This car is not as roomy as some small SUVs. When it comes to legroom, look at that. My knees are touching the seat ahead of me, which is set for my driving position. I'm 182 centimetres or 6 foot tall. I do have a good amount of foot room and, well, I can sort of wiggle them around a little bit. Headroom, yeah, it's okay as well, but certainly not brilliant. You do have some decent amenities back here. You've got grab handles and hooks. There are lights in the back too, which might help us see some more of this cabin. You've got some map pockets. There are bottle holders in the doors. There is soft elbow padding there. In fact, look at that. That's like bloody memory foam, people. It is very, very soft. I worry about the durability of that. But then you've got some other interesting materials above. Here, you've got some really good stuff. So down there, you'll see a pair of USB-C ports. There's also a power point plug. So yes, you can power maybe a laptop or a other small electronic device if you want to. You've got directional air vents. That's a nice bonus. And of course, it is a SUV for families. So you've got a set of ISOFIX points in the window seats, 3 top tethers. As you can see, my kiddo's in there, and we've had enough space for her to kick her 4-year-old legs and have someone in front, but not excessive amounts of space, surprisingly. Now, here, you've also got a flip-down armrest with some cup holders. And like I said, if you want to, you can fold this section of the seat down so you've got it as a 4-seater if you want to. But yeah, there's also a transmission tunnel intrusion to contend with down there. Not a huge one, but still, it's not the hugest back seat. Not the roomiest by a long stretch, in fact. As I said, there are 3 different powertrain options available in the CX-60 range. This one here is the G40E, a 3.3 litre turbocharged inline 6 with 48 volt mild hybrid tech. It's got 209 kilowatts, 450 newton meters, and it can do 0 to 100 in 6.9 seconds. That's pretty good for a vehicle of this size. 8-speed auto, all-wheel drive as standard. And then, if you want diesel, there is that option, a D50E it's called, 3.3 litre again, turbocharged inline 6, 48 volts with 7.3 seconds 0 to 100. It also has an 8-speed auto and all-wheel drive, but you need to keep this in mind. If you are interested in towing with your CX-60, the diesel has the worst towing capacity of these different versions available currently, so that might play into your considerations. The P50E is a plug-in hybrid model, which uses a 4-cylinder, 2.5 litre engine, which is teamed to a 100 kilowatt electric motor and a 17.8 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now, it can do 76 Ks on EV specifically, and it's got pretty decent AC charging up to 7.2 kilowatts. It's the heaviest, but it's also the fastest of the lot at 5.9 seconds 0 to 100. So the plug-in hybrid might be right for you. I haven't driven the updated version, but check out my review of the existing one and you might see why it might not be right for you, especially now that there are so many great plug-in hybrid options out there. So, the Mazda CX-60. I have some thoughts, people. There have been improvements here, but this is still not even close to my favorite mid-sized SUV to drive because, well, despite the fact that it has a absolutely stonking 6-cylinder engine, whether you choose the petrol or the diesel, they're both bloody excellent engines. The transmissions are terrible. Like, it's just really hard to get along with a gearbox that, well, seemingly doesn't know what it's doing some of the time, when it should know what it's doing all of the time. Now, when you're going at low speeds, you might find that it can feel sluggish and laggy and also a little bit lurchy and a little bit clunky and kind of like a bad dual clutch in some ways. And I don't think that this car deserves this transmission. It would be so much better if it just had a better gearbox than it does, because this one, it's a Mazda in-house design and it feels like a product of compromise. It just doesn't feel like it should. Basically, it should feel better than this. And it's not just at urban speeds, it's also at high speeds. If you sort of just get back onto the throttle when you're going 100 k's an hour and you've taken your foot off, because of the mild hybrid system and so much thinking that has to be done, it can actually feel like there's a thunk or a clunk through the entire driveline. And it's not very enjoyable. It certainly doesn't feel like the kind of money that's being asked, especially in the high grade versions. Even in this base model, I mean, it's a little bit more forgivable, but yeah, I just really struggle with the way that this car or this powertrain behaves itself more generally. Now, I think the 48 volt hybrid system does have a lot to do with the way that this car misbehaves. So it is inherently designed to save fuel and save load on the powertrain, but like when you take your foot off the accelerator, it'll coast. It's on 0 liters per 100 right now. If I put my foot back down, it all feels a bit heavy and slow to react. And yeah, it's just not as good an experience as it could be. It also adds noise to the equation because you can hear the electric motor doing things as well. And then there's the driving dynamics of the car. Look, I know in the past I've been critical of Mazdas because I don't really gel with the drive style of modern Mazda SUVs. Still the case here. I don't really like the way this car drives, just being honest with you guys. Like, the ride is better than it was, certainly better than it was, particularly the rear axle. The suspension has been sorted to a better degree. It's still not great. Still not great. It still has, God, transmission, what are you doing? It still has a firm edge to it and a level of discomfort at times when other cars just feel comfortable. It feels heavy. It just doesn't feel like a nice SUV to me. I just don't like it. So a lot of those complaints that I've had are based on my taste, my preferences. And there's one other thing that I want to call out in terms of my preferences. I like to be able to see from my mirrors what is behind me. You can't see as much in the driver's mirror as you can in the passenger side mirror, because that one is a convex mirror. This one is not. It's just a flat 1-to-1, and it can limit your view of what's behind you and may potentially be a problem when you're merging. All right, there are a few numbers to contend with when it comes to the official combined cycle fuel consumption figures for the different versions of this car. So there's the plug-in hybrid, which is obviously, you know, a bit unrealistic. You might see that for the first 100 Ks, but then the next 100 you'll use more. Check out my review and you'll see what I saw. And then there's the diesel, which is still really quite efficient, and this petrol 6-cylinder has a pretty decent claimed efficiency figure as well for a vehicle of this size, of this weight. It certainly is relatively efficient on paper. Now, if you're wondering what I've seen on this test, where I've done the sort of driving you might do, urban, highway, freeway, commuting, that sort of stuff, yeah, I've seen just over 9 litres per 100. I don't think that is excellent, but it is pretty good for a 6-cylinder engine. Now, the 48-volt mild hybrid tech is obviously playing its part there as well, so maybe there is some benefit there, but yeah, it doesn't sway my opinion towards you must buy this car, not by any stretch. Now, when it comes to the fuel requirements, the plug-in hybrid one needs the premium juice. This petrol one can run on regular 91 unleaded, and then obviously the diesel runs on diesel. There's a bit of a difference when it comes to the fuel tank capacity for the 6-cylinder versions versus the plug-in hybrid as well. You see the numbers on your screen, but you know, I think that if you are going to be doing lots of miles, maybe the diesel will be the best bet, but there are some compromises with that, of course. The CX-60 achieved the maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating a little while ago, and it is loaded across the entire range when it comes to the safety stuff. You're getting things like autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection. There's lane keeping, emergency lane keeping, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. You've got a surround view camera as standard across the entire range. There's speed sign recognition, and it doesn't beep and bong at you. I love that about this car. But if you spend up a little bit more, you can get from the Evolve grade up a surround view camera system with a see-through view, if that matters. But you're also getting front cross traffic alert and traffic jam assist technology, so it can stop, start and steer for you in some situations on the highway. And as well as that, there's also a driver monitoring camera system, which you don't get in the entry-level versions, and I'm actually okay with that because it means potentially less annoyances. And then there's the airbag count. There are 8 fitted to this vehicle. There's dual front, front side, driver's knee, front center airbag, and also curtain coverage for both rows of seats. Mazda Australia offers a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is good, and the plug-in hybrid model gets a decent battery warranty for its battery pack as well. Now, let's talk about servicing. Your service intervals are 12 months and 15,000 Ks for the 6-cylinder petrol and the plug-in hybrid, and 12 months and 10,000 Ks for the diesel. So the diesel has limited appeal when it comes to servicing, also has the limited towing capacity as well, but the servicing costs might be a limiting factor for consumers as well because they are expensive. I'll put the average service price over the cap price servicing plans on your screen now for the petrol, the plug-in hybrid, and also the diesel. Yep, it's a pricey SUV to maintain. But you do get 5 years of roadside assistance included for no cost, and if you want to, you can get a guaranteed future value for your CX-60 if you do the Mazda Financial Services offering. So go through their finance program and you can get guaranteed future value if you want it. Look, I certainly feel like this CX-60 is an improvement compared to the original version, but it still doesn't feel like the best in the class to me. There are alternatives that I would pick instead of it personally, because I don't think you really need a 6-cylinder engine in a car like this, but have your say in the comments. Do you reckon I'm wrong? Do you reckon Mazda's got it right? Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for having your say. I'll see you when I see you.